Welcome in, everyone. I'm Erebus Rex, your gentleman Eldritch. Today we have our guest.
I am Bivaidonas. I am a VTuber, so virtual YouTuber or like a streamer. Pretty much liked by all my coworkers because they all know me because I'm the one that is the most there. I'm the only permanent position in a way,
Mm,
and I'm the only one that is in between shifts. So they always see me in between their shifts.
okay, I get you. I get
So they all know me, and they pretty much go like, "Wait, what's the bitch doing?" Because I'm overweight, so she tried to force me to take the to do like a handicap status.
you. What?
Yeah, she tried to force me to do it, and I went to the doctor because I was like, "Fine, I'm going to at least do that." My doctor was like, "Dude, you're not handicapped," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know." It's like maybe you're gonna get like diabetes in 10 years, but I don't think that counts as imminent.
You can still move around.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I'm fat for as a French, like not American. Like yes, no,
I,
no, yeah,
I love that depiction. Yeah,
no. It's simply in the law. The law is different. Legally, the status of morbidly obese is different. Not the same weight.
I know, but just to see, like just the distinction
Yeah.
that it's not American fat.
When I lived
It's
in Canada, I was shocked that some of them could be that fat.
no. Here's the thing. I'm not even offended by it because I know it's true.
I mean, it's one of the few population when more than 50% of the population is like morbidly obese. So it's, I mean, as French standard, it's American standard. I think it's like half of them are just obese and
Oh yeah,
quarter of
there's
them are
so
morbidly
many. In
obese.
fact, there's actually a show called My 600 Pound Life, which is just about people who weigh more than 600 pounds.
I mean, honestly, like just liposuction. It's the only way. Because they're too damaged. Their body are simply too damaged to do any effort after a while.
Here's the
Like, like
thing:
yeah.
at that much weight, literally, if you cut down in half what you're eating, you'd lose weight.
Oh
Your
yeah.
body's not meant to be that heavy.
I mean, even I'm trying to look into getting like a mini oven just to get factor, like the food service. But they have
Mm.
issues of cutting down the many calories I eat, and they have like a calorie smart program. So I would like it's the easiest way to do it. So and the food is good because most of the time when you do that, the food tastes like shit.
Oh yeah, I get you.
And you get to like you're already depressed because it's the effect of not eating what you want to eat. But if the food is shit, it's like permanently being in hospital for months.
Yeah, hospital
Yeah.
food is awful,
Like,
regardless of where you go. Same with airplane food. Airplane food. Only certain flights have I been on where I said, the food is all right. Not great. It's all right.
it's mostly, I mean, airplane food mostly the cost. Any kind of stuff you buy what did I say? It was like gourmet, like gourmet airplane food and shit. And I was going to Canada, and I was like, okay, that shit would not just because you slap a chef on it doesn't mean it was gourmet when it's like in a little bucket and shit. It still looks like space food. I'm sorry. It's funny.
I was on a Lufthansa flight one time on my way to Frankfurt.
Mm.
Um, and they kept trying to offer me orange juice. It's the weirdest. Like I was offered orange juice an obscene amount of time. Not even like a couple. This was like several times when they passed by. Can I get you an orange juice? I'm like, I don't want dang orange juice.
There was one time I got upgraded to like business class, and I was like, I was feeling guilty about it.
Dude, as someone who has flown business, never feel guilty. In fact,
No,
you've been cursed now that you can never go
yeah,
back to
no,
economy because you know how good business is.
yeah, because you have space for just because I'm a tall guy, I'm like 6'3", 6'4", and just having space for your legs is just you're like fuck. And you go back like, no, I can't move my leg, I cannot be the position I want to. It's uncomfortable because I know what comfort feels like.
I flew to Heathrow in England, and they offered me to upgrade to business for like it was like $200. I'm like, oh sure, why not? I'll try it out, see how much nicer it is. It is such a huge difference.
Oh yeah, it's a need.
You wouldn't think it, but even like I said, even the food you get
Yeah,
is of much higher quality. It's not great, but still, it's much better than you would get in economy.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You had all this leg room. You had
I
when
mean,
I did it, there was like only like two other people in business, so you could literally lay out.
what doesn't funny thing is that yeah, you can lay out, you can fully like split out your legs and
Yeah,
like and which is amazing. But it's I was like the one I was with was like an old lady, and dude, she was getting smashed in champagne. She was not. She was nice, but you can see the degradation over time.
Hey, some of that's free. I mean, I guess get what you
Yeah.
can.
I turned around and she was just after like 45 minutes, she was literally like sleeping, and I was like, yeah, I get that because I don't like being when you're like in a plane, you're stuck with so many people, and I don't like it. So I don't sleep much because it makes me a bit paranoid.
See, I try to go to sleep just to make the 18-hour flight
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
that much less shorter.
Yeah, it's just that I mean, beggars can be choosers, but one thing we should never do is look at what planes were in the 50s and 60s.
Oh,
Because
it
it
was
was,
so much nicer.
it was a luxury, truly a luxury.
You could literally have a knife on a plane.
Yeah. And also, you had like real meals and the actual competition for quality instead of just like.
Uh,
So what people say is, what was it like? Oh, we have better things now than ever. And I'm like,
because back then flying was sort of a class thing, but
it
now
was a luxury.
now it's become let's shove as many people as we can into a tube to make the most money.
Yeah, and that's why when I talk about AI stuff, it's the same idea. To me, we're in the last phase of like mass production versus like artisans.
Hmm.
And like artists are the same way. You have artisans that ask you for a lot of money to do like a quality product by hand, hopefully. And then you have mass produced slush that looks the same, is half botched, but is very cheap.
Well, that's the thing. I think, as it still stands, it's not replacing anything, but it's still very much it's a tool that even
Yeah.
an artist can use.
Yeah, the thing that I'm thinking about that what is the end goal? And to me, the end goal is to replace creativity because it's the same idea with using Chat GPT instead of paying a writer, because then you can downgrade the pay of all writers is to make all services cheaper. Companies to make more money.
And that is the thing. I mean, who's to say in the future going to the movies won't be you going up to a building and typing in a prompt and theme you want to watch, and it
Yeah,
generates a movie from that.
yeah. Then you don't need movie directors, you don't need
Yeah,
actors, you don't need anything. So all of those people would be without jobs. Is it bad or good? Depends.
I don't know.
And also you have only people like writing prompts, I guess, if the AI cannot do it itself.
I think there always will be some sort of human element to it, though.
Yeah, but with less and less.
Less and less, but I don't think there always is going to be at least one guy in the back who's got to do maintenance.
Yeah, but it's not the same as like and it's just like if people don't use their brain for creativity or don't use their brain to create stuff, what kind of degradation is going to do in the long term?
But at the same time, I think there is a need for creativity at the moment
Yes.
that we're just not seeing.
And they're trying to do it with like Netflix and other shows, you still have the fight between those who want to do quality and those who want to do like mass produced stuff. Like good example, Star Wars. In the past, every Star Wars movie was like an event.
Okay.
And today it's like like in the like I believe a year or 2 years ago, there was like 9 simultaneous Star Wars shows at the same time, and no one had the time to look at all of them because who watched 9 shows of Star Wars like, and some of them at the same time, literally the same time on the schedule,
Now,
and
I think Star Wars is broad enough. You could have that, but it's something has changed. Because back in the day, George Lucas could have put out a decorative Star Wars plate, and you'd have people line up wanting to get it. You did the same thing now, I don't think anyone cares. The hype is gone. And is it because we've
yeah,
got so much of it?
I think because one, it's so much of it, and two, it all looks the same but doesn't have any personality, so it's not memorable. It doesn't leave an experience that you literally like write home about. It's like, oh, it's a Star Wars show. Bah,
Because
at
look,
best.
here's my experience with Star Wars. I like the original movies. I like the prequel movies. I grew up with the prequels. Last Jedi killed any Star Wars
Yeah.
love I have left in me. I literally for that movie was so bad to me, and not that there's any aspect of the movie is terrible. Their acting is good as it can be it looks good. It's just the story and flavor of it is just not good.
As like someone that loves lore, so I study a lot of shit. I know where they found the script. There is like a series of novels about actually like a clone of Palpatine and stuff. But the whole principle of it is that Palpatine is pretty much the shadow of himself, and he tries to motivate Luke and succeed to join the dark side. So it's mostly like a fight with Luke within himself, and him getting lost in depression, like bad emotions and stuff, and being so weak mentally because he just lost most of the academy. So he feels guilty. So he's pretty much manipulated into the dark side. So Palpatine is like the accessory for Luke in a conflict. So it's interesting.
Anakin was the chosen one. Luke is the result of the chosen one, I think.
Yeah.
Because Luke is, I don't think, supposed to be a Jedi per se, more of a gray Jedi.
Yeah.
Someone who does use parts of the dark side, because you can't have one side of the force without the other.
The main issue with what they did in the movie that they made every character into an absolutist.
Definitely, yeah.
It's like you cannot be evil. You have to be good. 200%, 200%. I have the best good. My good is the best.
I mean, the whole line of like a Sith deals in absolutes makes sense. The Sith are
Yeah.
emotional, they're confrontational, whereas the Jedi are more reserved.
The most extreme emotion you have, the more power you have. So it makes sense for them to like the more powerful they become, the more in absolute they deal, because that's how they get more powerful.
Aren't they all hypocrites too? Because like at the end, like you see the
Yeah.
Force ghosts, isn't that like a dark, considered a dark side power?
Not really. That's never been specified. But it's just in the end, all of the characters are flat.
I saw Last Jedi in the theater, and I literally jumped out of my chair and said, "What?" Twice. Once when you had Leia, like Mary Poppins, flying through
Oh yeah.
space, and the second time when what's her name, Tico, kissed Finn. Like, when did that ever happen? When that ever happened? We had no lead up to that. There was nothing behind it. It just happened.
Oh. And it's just like, and then she does the shit like, I want to save you, my love. And I'm like, yeah. So you decide to sacrifice like maybe thousands of people inside the base. That's not a good thing. So trying to sell it as a good thing, it's not. You're soldiers in a war. Imagine if someone says, "Oh, but that is quite sexy, so I need to sacrifice all the Jews." No, that's not what it happens. Maybe want that ethic, but it's still not a moral move.
I almost could have forgiven it if, like, this fight with when Luke shows up at the end,
Ugh.
if that had been something more instead of, oh, it's just an illusion. Oh, well,
When he died from space cancer.
he's died from space cancer.
And I just look at this like none of it has any importance. It just happens, and then because there is no build up, there's no build up, there's no conflict. They don't have to think. They never think.
The cruel thing about Star Wars is that in Mandalorian Season 2, when you saw Luke again, as the
Yeah,
Jedi Master Luke, you remembered you liked Star Wars at one point.
yeah,
That's what's so hard about that. You're like, oh my gosh, the nostalgia is there. You remembered I actually liked Star Wars.
yeah.
And then you go watch the Boba Fett show and it just spits right back in your face.
And it's like preparing a corpse. It's what it feels like. That's literally what they did with Tarkin and with Luke. It's perpetrating. I mean, he's not dead, but it's like perpetrating the corpse of a character with bad 3D. And dude, what they did with Ahsoka, like it's the greatest example of a lack of skill when it comes to writing. Ahsoka is a lovable character. She has a lot of personality. She's emotional and stuff. So she has,
Ahsoka's a weird one because she's technically Anakin's apprentice, even though Anakin is not a master.
he is somewhat. Eh, it's like by proxy.
I mean, he's on the Jedi Council, but he's not a
He's a
master.
knight. He's a knight. So I think knights can take apprentice. I don't remember. But it's just that sometimes you just look at that shit and you just go like, how could you mess up a character that's already written? She also has personality traits. She already has stuff people like. And you just go, no, and throw them in the trash. It's just like they do the job for you and you're still unable to.
Star Wars should have been an easy money making franchise
Oh
to.
yeah.
I mean, like again, George Lucas could have put anything Star Wars out, and people would have bought it up. Now I don't think he even cares.
I mean, he said once that they don't want him here. Like they told him that don't show up. And he was like, okay, they don't want me, so I'm not showing up.
But why not? The guy is the one who made it.
I mean, he already said that to him it's bad. I mean, he just said it. He said like that's not how you're supposed to do it, and I disagreed. So that's why, and he pretty much said that that's why, if, at least to me, it's painful in a way. It's just like because I worked at it for most of my life.
Oh yeah.
Same
It
here. I could tell them how to do it, but they refuse.